good morning. Today you're going to be making a grab and go animation. What I mean by grab and go, let's see what that looks like. We'll hit play here. So if we look at my animation, I've got two things kind of flying into the scene. I want you to create a lower third animation. This is like a title that you see on a video. Because we're going to start displaying these GIFs that we make out in the hallway. So I want you to get used to kind of making titles. This is a very in-demand career doing title design for television. So I'll show you how to make this. And really what I want you to pay attention to is how I split the layer and how we use parenting. This is the second time we've talked about parenting. So I'm going to start by creating a new composition. And I'm going to call this grab and go. I'll do 640 by 480 and a 2-second duration, similar to what we've been doing before. I'm going to choose a different background color. We'll do blue and hit OK. Okay, so we're going to work backwards here, and that I want to first, let me tell my printer to go away. I'm going to close that. Okay. Excuse me. So I'm going to design my title first. I'm going to use the rounded rectangle tool. So if you click and hold on the shape tool, choose rounded rectangle. Now you do not have to use the rounded rectangle, of course. I actually prefer that you don't. So if you're listening to me, do something different. Create a fun shape. Use a different color than me. Use a different gradient. I'm going to go, I think I've got no stroke. So let's do a white stroke. Okay. And it's 14 pixels. So I'm going to do just 2 pixels. And then for fill, I'm going to do kind of a gray color, like you see here. So this is okay. I'm going to keep going. Use my type tool and type directly on top of this layer. I'm going to call this GIF of the week. When I move my cursor away from the text, I can drag it right inside here. Fits nicely. I want this to be white though, the text, so I triple clicked on it. And you look in the character window, and I'm going to choose white color instead of black. Awesome. So the way I'm going to do this is we're going to animate the rounded rectangle into the scene first. So let's look at my other composition here. So that rounded rectangle comes in first, and then the text follows it, but then they both go out together. So let's show you how to do that. I'm going to go back to my grab and go composition here. So first let's animate. Start by animating the shape layer. So I'll select the shape layer, go to, I don't know, 20 frames. Timing is up to you. And we're going to animate the position, so Option P. And then I'm going to go back to the beginning of my animation here and then drag the shape layer off the side of the screen. Hold down the Shift key if you want it to go straight. You'll see it snap into place. Okay. So it's going to snap into position here. Let's easy ease in on the second keyframe. Then, I don't know, around here is when the text will fly in, and then I want it to kind of chill there for a little bit. So I'm going to make a new keyframe about 1 second and 12 frames, Option P. So this is the point at which it's going to fly out of the scene below. So I need one more keyframe, Option P. And then while I'm at this point, while the timeline is over it, I didn't even have to manually make this. I can just click and drag this down, holding down the Shift key, like so. If you're ever wondering, oh, should I do easy ease in or easy ease out, you could always just choose right click on the keyframe, choose easy ease, and it will kind of make that decision for you. So now let's play this. Very cool. I actually want it to fly out a little quicker, so I'm going to move these two keyframes closer together. So here's where it starts, right? If I just scoot this over a little bit, now that will fly out a little quicker. I'll even move it closer together, like so. Still not happy with it. Okay, there we go. So it hangs out for longer, but it does kind of fly away quickly. Beautiful. Okay, now I want to animate my text. So if my shape flies in at 20 frames, I want my text to finish flying in a little bit later. So I'm going to scoot about 4 or 5 frames over. Almost to 1 second. Again, timing is up to you. I hope you're not doing the same timing as me. Make sure you've selected the text layer, GIF of the week. And I'm going to do Option P to begin animating this. So here is where it's going to end up. And then I want it to fly in at about, so kind of between these two keyframes if we look at my shape layer. So at about 10 frames, I'm going to move the text off the side of the screen. So we'll do that here. Like so. So now we'll see shape followed by text. It kind of catches up to it. It's kind of cool. So really just 2 layers, different timing. Notice though that my shape kind of drops away and my text disappears. I want the text to do exactly what this shape is doing here. But the problem that I'm having though is that I want the timing to be a little bit off in the beginning, but then synced up at the end here. So they're flying in separately, but leaving together. How do I do that? ZBarth, let's show you. So I'm gonna hit stop. Scrub through my timeline here. So the text flies in, and then if we look at my shape layer, so if you want to see the keyframes to your shape layer, remember the U key. So U hides it. U again just shows you what you've animated. So I've hit U twice on both of these layers, so I'm just looking at the position keyframes. So right at about here is where the shape is going to fly away. So how do I tell the text layer, okay, here is where I want you to grab on to the shape layer and go with it. Hence the name of this challenge, Grab and Go. To do that, fairly simple, but it's a 2-step process. We're going to use parenting, but if I were to tell it to use the parent here, it's going to want to follow everything, which remember we want the beginning to be slightly out of sync. So go back to your keyframe here. And what I'm going to do is split this text layer. And by splitting the text layer, so I've selected the layer, go up under the Edit menu, choose Split Layer. So now I've got 2 layers here. And you'll notice that where it's split, these red bars are kind of showing up in the different layers. So now I actually have 2 layers, whereas this original layer here is playing the first part of the movie, and then the second layer, the first layer you can see gets cut off, it disappears in the timeline, and then it's playing the second layer. So while you have the second layer selected, you want to tell it to look under the parent menu. So to get to the parent menu, click on toggle switches and modes. So your thing either looks like this. Oh, it looks like parent actually shows up in both. So parent is always here. But you want to tell this latter part of the text to have the parent of the shape layer. Parent, choose shape layer 1, and now from this point on, the text is going to hold on to that shape layer and fly away. So let's hit play, and you'll see that that worked. I'd like to change things, like I want to make sure that this first thing has got easing, this where the text flies in and stops. I'm going to right click, choose easy ease. Awesome. Looking great. That's it. turn it in, file, export, add to render queue. All right. Remember to click on the link here to see where it's going to end up. My desktop, click save, and then render. And that's it. Instructions are on the board for how to make the GIF. You all should be great at that now. Thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed this project. I'll see you all later.